Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, April 2nd. Really appreciate y'all supporting the channel. So today we're talking about Travon Walker. We've talked a little bit about this topic over the last few weeks, months, but the Jaguars, they have some decisions to make when it comes to Travon Walker. And just completed his third year in the NFL, former first overall pick by the Jaguars back in 2022. He's now eligible after accruing 3 seasons in the NFL for a contract extension. The Jaguars also have a decision to make as a former first round pick on his 5th-year option. So there's some different things to factor in, to consider here, and we're going to talk about it all today with Travon Walker. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. So Travon Walker, again, going into year 4 and former first overall pick, the Jaguars, they have to decide, I believe it's May 1st, early in May, on the 5th-year option. And so going into year 4, the 5th-year option is for the 2026 campaign. I think I don't know how you could make any argument against picking up the 5th-year option. I think you absolutely pick up the 5th-year option. So then the question becomes, after you pick up the 5th-year option, do you continue to negotiate towards a new deal? And so that's what we're going to look at. And we're going to look at first just where he is as a player right now. Very, very good run defender. Borderline elite run defender, in my opinion. His ability to set the edge with his strength and length and just fluidity and athleticism is really impressive. And not only does he set the edge, but he can make splash plays in the backfield. He can make splash plays in pursuit. And he also reads the run game pretty well. I think he's, generally speaking, almost always where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. So that's a big check mark. A lot of the guys that are at the top, they get paid because of their ability to rush the passer. But when you talk about impacting an NFL game and making an impact for your defense and for your team, run defense absolutely matters, and he does that in a big way. He's a decent pass rusher right now who does know how to finish at a high level. You're talking about double-digit sacks in each of the last 2 seasons. He also consistently pushes the pocket, gets quarterbacks off their mark, which that's not going to show up in the stat sheet. It's not going to be a pressure. It's not going to be a sack, a quarterback hit. But if you have the ability to collapse the pocket, that is going to make things difficult for opposing offenses, for quarterbacks. It's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but it will impact the game. In my opinion, he does need to continue to develop his pass rush plan and his consistency down to down. It's just not at a, top 5, top 10 level in the NFL right now. It's not. That's okay, but it's not. He's showing signs, in my opinion, of being able to have that pass rush plan and the consistency, but it's not all the way there yet. You're starting to see a cross chop that he can hit. He can bend a little bit at the top of the arc, just thanks to his explosiveness off the ball and then his fluidity at his size, right? And the ability to continue to use the hands and have that balance. You see a crossover where he can kind of fake you out, make you worry that he's going to try to hit the outside arc, and then he can cross your face. He also has, a very powerful and explosive bull rush and long arm. I honestly would like to see him just work the power moves a little bit more, honestly. And then, obviously you give change-ups, but you need to have your bread and butter locked in. And I think that's what's going to be his bread and butter long-term. But you see the flashes. You just want to see a little bit more consistency from a pass rush standpoint. And again, even if he's not getting a pressure, he is almost always pushing the pocket, which that's very valuable. It absolutely is. He's smart in his ability to diagnose and react, like when you talk about screens, misdirection, things of that nature. I think Travon Walker does a very good job in that regard. He's a very high-effort player as well. And so you're talking about somebody with a lot of physical ability against the run, developing pass rush skill set, big time motor, doesn't take plays off. Going back and watching, I did do a refresher course on Travon Walker, watched the last 3 games from him of the 2025 campaign. Again, just always making a positive impact. Maybe not the splashiest pass rusher yet in terms of the consistency or just seeing a win where it's like he won in a flash, right? But offenses show him a lot of respect too. He pretty consistently gets doubled or chipped by a tight end. You can tell that offensive coordinators are making sure that they're accounting for Travon Walker. And then you do see some splash plays. Sometimes it's as a run defender, sometimes it's a chase player, pursuit player, sometimes it's as a pass rusher. But you get those big time moments from Trayvon Walker. You absolutely do. I mean, it's evidenced by double-digit sacks each of the last 2 years. It's evidenced by the stops that he picks up. He had 35 stops for the Jaguars last year, which is a tackle that constitutes a failure for the offense, according to PFF. So you do see it in the numbers a little bit. And PFF in 2024 did finally start to show Trayvon Walker some more respect as a player. And I think it shows up on tape that he got better as well. They graded him out as a good run defender, a slightly above average pass rusher, and overall a good edge player in 2024. I think all of that bears out. I think that they're on the money with that. And he's just got so much strength, length, and fluidity for his size that he can be overwhelming. And he, like I said, almost always, every game you're seeing opposing offenses give him extra attention. So a great run defender, pretty good pass rusher, someone who finishes, makes a lot of plays, effort plays, strain plays, physically and athletically imposing in this league among unbelievable athletes at tackle and across the board in the NFL. He consistently stands out on tape. So in a vacuum, I think you're talking about, look, there's a ton of good edge rushers out there, edge players in the NFL. There are. But I think in a vacuum, not factoring his age, not factoring the trajectory that he's on, the upside, the relative lack of development that he had before he entered the league, not factoring in any of those things, I'd say you're paying him as a top 20 edge. Because again, really, really good run defender, above average pass rusher, high impact player in terms of just offensive attention and the splash plays he can make. So that's around 15, 16 million per year, somewhere in that range, right? But we don't live in a vacuum. Trayvon Walker is 24 years old. He just turned 24. He is rapidly ascending. He is a 3-down threat that, again, offenses are always accounting for. And again, you have contract control for the next 2 years. You pick up that 5th-year option, and he's under contract through 2026. I would say work to lock this thing up, right? Lock it up now. Because if you don't, and he goes and has a season like Josh Hines-Allen had in 2023, where he gets those numbers, gets close to 20 sacks, now you're talking about a former number 1 overall pick coming off a massive year, entering his prime. It's going to cost you a lot more money. I'd say right now, lock it up anywhere from 25 to 28 million per year. And I know that number is probably going to sound high to some. But by the time that deal hits the cap, which again is 2027, it will look like a value. You're about to see a lot of edge rushers get paid over the next 2 years. Get ahead of it. That's smart money. That's smart cap management. And it's also showing your football team that you value guys that come to work every day, lunch pail attitude, all ball all the time, guys that are ascending. You're continuing to show that. All right. I think it's a big opportunity for this front office, new regime, to show that they're going to value the guys that work hard. And not only are they doing that, but they're also keeping a really good player under contract for a long time. You're probably talking about a 5-year deal, 5-year extension. So keep him under contract past 2030. Again, an ascending player who you can make this statement to your football team that you value your guys that work hard and that bring it and that put up numbers. But you can also, on the same hand, be getting probably a value in the next couple of years because, look, these edge rush contracts, you've got Myles Garrett, who just set the number at $40 million. Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa are all above $34 million. Then you've got Josh Hines-Allen and Brian Burns and TJ Watt all at $28 million. TJ Watt's about to get paid. He's going to have to get paid, right? Then you got Montez Sweat, Rashawn Gary, Trey Hendrickson, Greg Rousseau. All those guys are in between 20 and 25 million. I think you're going to see some dudes get paid in the next couple years in a big, big way. I mean, you're talking about Micah Parsons. You're talking about Aiden Hutchinson. You're talking about Will Anderson. And look, Travon Walker is not Aiden Hutchinson. We know that. But he is a damn good football player who makes your team better and is ascending. He was never going to be a better pass rusher in the first couple years than Aiden Hutchinson. And he probably never will be. But can he be a more complete player? Potentially. And can he be someone that has a huge positive impact for your football team? Someone that, again, double-digit sacks the last 2 years. High-impact run defender. High-effort player. Ascending. That's the type of guy you pay. And so I think it'll be a value in a couple years if you do it now. And I think that that it'll also show this football team what you're all about as an organization. So that's how I'd play it out. I would pick up that fifth-year option. I would negotiate. I would try to be getting around $25 million per year if I was the Jaguars. If I'm Trayvon Walker's representation, I'm pushing more for that next benchmark, which is close to 28. Hopefully you could meet somewhere in the middle because I think you're paying a guy early. You're paying him a lot. I mean, you pay him, if you get to that $25 million mark number, you're only behind Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, Josh Hines-Allen, Brian Burns, and TJ Watt at the time of signing. Now, again, once that money kicks in against the cap, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guys that are way ahead of that. But I think it's a deal that makes sense for both sides, even if you get to $28 million. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.